You are listening to Unified Through Chronic and Mental Illness with your hosts, Angie Roberts and Kimberly Murphy. Please be advised that some of the topics of this podcast can be triggering and sensitive in nature.
About 1 in 13 Black or African American babies are born with sickle cell traits.
Hey, Spoonies, mental health warriors, and our supporters. Welcome to another episode of Unified. I'm Kimberly Murphy here with Angie Roberts.
Hey, guys.
And today we are talking about a rare disease called sickle cell anemia. So, Angie, why don't you get us started and get people up to pace on what sickle cell anemia actually is?
Well, sickle cell is a red blood disorder, and both parents have to have the genes for it to be passed on.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely not contagious, and you are born with sickle cell anemia traits. So we were talking about the 1 in 13, or there's a lot of other races that get it also.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the white race gets it as much.
I'm sure it's pretty, I've read that too.
Really
It's mostly
yeah.
African American, Black population, correct?
Right. And I think Hispanics have it.
Right.
Also Hispanic Latinos. So healthy blood cells are usually smooth and round. They're bendable. The sickle cell blood cells, they change. They look like a sickle or a crescent moon, or the crescent. They become stiff and sticky. They cause the blood flow to back up.
Mm-hmm.
They break down the blood vessels. It creates pileups of the red blood cells. And so then that may prevent your organs from getting oxygen.
Right. Because the red blood cells carry oxygen to tissues throughout the body.
Exactly.
Right. Well, that could be a huge problem.
It could be a huge
this
problem.
This can get really serious, right? I mean, this can
it's very serious.
Right. You can actually get major organ damage, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Sickle Cell Association on Twitter says, and they're at BR Sickle, they say, make sure to take life one step at a time. Everyone's pace is different, especially our sickle cell warriors who may face different obstacles in life. Be patient with yourself and others. So, Angie, what are some of the symptoms of sickle cell anemia?
Well, when I was doing the research, the symptoms were broke down into age. Babies and toddlers, they're likely to get jaundice and be fatigued or fussy due to anemia. Now, remember, that's due to anemia, not because we have a lot of toddlers that end up with jaundice and they're fussy. So, but due to anemia.
Mm-hmm.
Also, swelling in the hands and feet, blood getting trapped in the spleen, and frequent infections. And then our teens and young adults, they get leg ulcers, death of bone tissue sometimes.
Wow.
Acute eye damage, chest pain, cough, fever, and lower oxygen stats.
Right. So this is probably like when you go into the doctor's office and they take your O2 and they're like, oh, if it's under 95, they're concerned about you. If it's under 90, they start raising eyebrows. This is probably another reason why they do that test for some people, right? Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And now remember, the blood, when they get sick, they only have the crescent looking blood cell.
Right.
Yeah. So then there's not enough oxygen getting through. So that's a big thing that can trigger them if they know you have sickle cell anemia, that you're getting sick.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And adults generally have pain crises
mm-hmm.
caused by injury of the bone, muscle, or internal organs.
Which must hurt a great deal, especially in the bone. I can only imagine.
This is a very, very painful disease.
I had heard that. I heard it's one of the most painful, right? Because of
Yeah. When you can't get oxygen to what you need to, those things can die. So It's a very serious and a very, very, very painful disease. I had a friend that was always in and out of the always had it in and out of the hospital and would be in there for about a week
Oh, wow.
every time, or maybe two,
See,
until they could get him settled down.
I think a lot of people don't think it's this big of a deal. Like, I really don't think there's enough awareness.
I had never heard of sickle cell before.
Mhm.
I'm ashamed of myself, but it wasn't something I had ever heard of, really.
I know. Yeah. I know. Like, if you don't know somebody who has it, you probably
Right,
wouldn't hear about it. So,
right.
and
It kind of matters where you live too.
and there's a lot of misconception around it too.
Definitely.
I actually read this tweet the other day while I was trying to get familiar with the sickle cell community. And this is at King Tayor, Tayyorr. Sorry, I
Yeah.
have to call you
Say that
out.
again. Say it again. What was his name?
At King Tayyorr. Got to call
Y'all
you
got
out.
that?
Got to call you out. I'm sorry. But he says sickle cell helped Africans create a resistance against malaria, a disease that killed almost 1.2 million people a year. Talking about sickle cell in this manner is very ignorant. He's referring to somebody who said it's a disease. Okay. Talking in this manner is very ignorant. It's not a disease, it's a manageable condition. So we are sorry, but
Wow.
yeah, we're sorry, but you were wrong. That is not true. It is a
It is a
disease.
disease,
It's a serious disease.
and it's not very easy to manage,
And the fact that it helped
from
people
what I understand.
become kind of immune to malaria doesn't change the fact that it's extremely serious and needs to be addressed. This
Right.
other person on Twitter at Hola Dera, I hope I'm pronouncing that. Oh, Ola, probably. At HOLADERA. Is that Ola? I don't know what that is.
I'm not gonna guess.
I know, right? He's like, really, ladies? He said sickle cell is a disease that has ravaged our communities. It has killed so many of us and devastated so many of our families. Please talk about it with the seriousness and severity it deserves. It should not be the topic for some BK chat style YouTube show.
Right. I agree. Totally agree with him.
But I will say that anybody who does decide to cover this, it's good advertisement. I don't want to say advertisement, awareness. Like, you have to create awareness. You have to shine a light on it. Otherwise,
Yes.
people are not going to understand how serious it is. So I don't know what he means by that type of YouTube channel. Do you know what he means?
I think he means a childish.
I'm sure that tweet was in response to something else, but he does make a very good point about how we need to take this seriously. It is a disease, you guys.
It is. It really
I don't know why
is.
that's up for debate. So.
Me gusta. Me gusta. Me gusta.
It's obvious that it does, there's different symptoms that stand out at different ages, but there's got to be like common symptoms for everyone. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
They all have anemia, and that's due to too few healthy red cells. So there's not enough. They have joint complications.
From the block in the blood vessels, right, leading to your joints. I know about that.
Sickle cell, yeah, it blocks and then they have a delay in growth, and it may also take longer for them to start puberty.
Interesting.
And over time, the effects on organs this is sad. It can be silently damaging, so they don't exactly know that they're being damaged.
Right.
And the effects of sickle cell build up over time and cause illnesses, serious complications, and sadly, they have a shortened lifespan.
So the serious complications, I would imagine, are the buildups that you were talking about, because the crescent shapes don't slide against each other like the cells should. That rough exterior. So that can cause kind of like a blood clot. It's kind of the same, right?
And because the it's like your blood vessel has narrowed down to half of what it was.
Right. So
So
your organs are
yeah,
just not getting the oxygen they need to sustain what they do, or maybe even life.
correctly.
Oh,
Correct.
wow. That's
Correctly.
amazing. Correctly. That's
Correctly.
amazing, though. Could you imagine? That's got to be so painful. And I did
Can't
notice that
imagine.
on Twitter. Like a lot of the people on Twitter were just talking about how painful it is. And I always thought CRPS was, or RPS were the most painful conditions there were.
Right.
This sounds pretty painful, I have to say.
Yeah, it's probably up there with them. So there are a few ways to manage sickle cell. Healthy habits, stay hydrated, and healthy eating.
Mhm.
Hydration, it helps to prevent those pain crises that we talked about earlier.
Right.
And I'm sure that keeps the blood thin so that it can pass through.
Right.
They need more water than normal. So,
Okay.
um,
That sounds like a good reason. I would think that makes sense to me that
right,
it keeps the blood flowing.
right.
Yeah.
Because it's with us too. I mean, if we're not hydrated, our blood doesn't flow right, but we have a open, our
Right.
cells are all the way open.
We
So it's
hope.
a
Yeah,
lot
right.
easier. Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Find good medical care. Don't be afraid to switch doctors if you don't like your doctor, if you don't feel like that they are giving you good medical care or what you need. Please don't think you're stuck.
Can I say something right here? Because Uncle
Sure.
Charles, he's at AKWARI Charles. He says currently there are 3 medications treatments for sickle cell disease. They're in the US. It's Endari. I think it's right. I'm just going to spell it because you know these names. ADAKVEO. And then the last one is OXBRYTA. A monthly supply of this medication costs around $9,000 to $10,000. However,
Ooh.
right. However, it's covered under the pharmacy benefits, but the copay is never listed. So this is an issue that they have. And I'm sure that people without insurance, could you imagine? A lot of people don't have insurance in the United States right now.
I can't imagine. That is insane.
Right.
The last couple are you need to prevent infections. The common illnesses can be totally dangerous. And to maintain a healthy body temperature, like don't be careful when you're going in and out during the cold or in and out during the hot. And also when you're working out. And also get support. And I have some resources for you.
Okay. Awesome.
The resources that the patients can use are sicklecellspeaks.com. You can email helpline at sicklecellsociety.org. If you need anything from them, they're a great society.
And I'm sure they can point you in different directions if you're looking for like local support.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Yes. And you can always use the Mayo Clinic or the CDC websites for more information.
Right.
Too.
Right. I did want to share a couple more tweets.
Sure.
The one that we just read from, he also said, I know people who were deeply in love and wanted families with their partners. And when they found out that they both had the sickle cell trait, they called it quits. They ended the relationship because no amount of romantic love can justify even potentially giving a child a debilitating disease like sickle cell anemia.
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
Isn't that like I know, and a lot of people don't think about that because you can get tested for the trait. So they will go in and get tested ahead of time to see if they have the trait. And if 2 parents have the trait, that's what you need in order to pass it on. So yeah, I guess he's saying that a lot of couples are, I mean, I can understand, I totally can, but how sad is it that you have to break up a great relationship because you fear for that?
Or not have children.
Right. Or not have children at all.
Something you really want to do. Right.
Dr. Emmett Smith, Doc Bear, OMD, he said sickle cell disease is another example of a disease that has pain as one of its primary components, along with Parkinson's, MS, endometriosis, and more. As pain patients, we should be embracing all of the people affected by pain, regardless of their primary diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's kind of insinuating there that like this isn't taken seriously as a pain illness, which
it's really not. People
right.
don't understand. And that's why I really wouldn't, I don't remember how I come across it, or it just popped into my head and I told you, I was like, sickle cell. I wouldn't do sickle cell. Like if there's not enough awareness for sickle cell, we need to do it.
Right. It's such a rare disease. Most people don't even know what it is. They just know that people of color are more apt to get it. That's pretty much all that anybody really knows.
It's sad.
Jasper House Warriors at Jasper House W says a sickle cell crisis is an extreme and debilitating pain episode that can last for more than a week, often requires intensive medical care, and if not treated adequately, can result in organ failure, heart attacks, or strokes. They say that the 3 items that you should have during a crisis is a heating pad, Gatorade, and good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibes are important. That mind, body, spirit connection.
Right.
And then he also says, it's been an extremely long month for me and October isn't over. I've been in and out of the hospital for the last 2 to 3 weeks. As soon as I feel better, I'm sick again. All I want is to be 100% again. I'll always keep fighting.
Oh, what a great, that's sad, but what a great, at the end, I'm always going to keep fighting, the positivity.
Right. That's where the good vibes come in handy because
you have to have them. Yeah.
It really does make a difference in how you feel. I know it can be hard to do because it's really easy to just get down on yourself and get so sick of the fight. I get it.
And then once you get down, it's really hard to get back up.
That's what I was just going to say. Once you're down
there,
man. No, it's okay. We were great minds, right? No, but seriously, once you're down there, it's really hard to climb out of it. It's like being in that depression, dark hole. It's the same thing. It's like once you're in that, it's really hard to come out.
Right.
And then I wanted to read at DEPAULLUBEGA. As you make up your mind to commit to your lovely partner, please don't forget to screen for sickle cell disease trait. If both of you have the trait, more chances are that your children will have the disease. We can avoid that. Screening services are available across the country. So again, this is something that's a very real part of their lives. Like they have to think about this when they're dating, when they're getting married, when they're having children.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Falling in love with somebody. What is it like with Aaron? What if Aaron and you both, I think y'all would have stayed together.
We would have stayed together. Right. Yeah. We would have stayed together, but it would have been heartbreaking that we could never have a child together.
Yeah.
Because of course we wouldn't take the risk. So,
absolutely. Right.
Yeah. So that's really, for all you couples out there who are dealing with this or people that have had to break up, we'd love to hear from you and just let us know how that came about and how you felt. I think the more we talk about sickle cell and how it affects daily living, that's when people are really going to perk up and say, oh, okay, because people need to know what it's like day to day for you.
Absolutely. I can sit here and read you all the stats and all the what's wrong. But Kimberly reading the tweets.
The treats. They are treats.
They pretty much put the icing on the cake of how, people really feel and what's really going on out there with sickle cell anemia.
Yeah. Because it's easier for people to understand. Well, I don't have to think about that when I have a relationship, or I don't have to go through pain episodes and crises. So when they can apply it to themselves, then they're more likely to remember and do something about it. I really hope that this segment at least gets people curious to learn more. I really hope. And if you want to talk to people from the sickle cell community, they're on Twitter. You can also hashtag on Instagram. I'm sure there's plenty of sickle cell anemia warriors who are more than willing to answer your questions. But again, come on our website and share it with us because we want to be a part of that very important conversation and we want to share it with everyone. So that is our goal.
We're on Facebook.
Yep.
We're on Facebook. Unified.
We are united.
Yeah, we are united. with Unified.
Facebook Unified. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can find us everywhere. But if you want to get our actual links, just go to anchor.fm/unified. You'll find all of our social media links there. So that's just the easiest way to do it. But so I'm so glad we did this segment, Angie, and thank you again. You're always the greatest researcher, and you bring us the best stuff. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So what is our mantra for this week? I'm curious.
When you have a rare disease, you face two battles, one being the illness itself and the other living in a world where so few people understand what you're up against.
Mm-hmm.
I really
exactly
like
it.
Yeah, it's exactly that for the sickle cell anemia patients.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They must, I mean, it's kind of like living in a foreign country. Nobody gets you.
Right.
You're speaking a foreign language because people don't understand. So
right. Maybe your family understands, but
right.
and maybe close friends, but coworkers and all these people,
employers.
They just see you taking off time and you're just not feeling well.
And all of those podcasts we've done on chronic illness apply to these people. I mean,
absolutely.
All of like your friends abandoning you and relationships falling apart. And I mean, they go through all the same stuff the chronic illness warrior team community does. All of y'all out there that are part of my team and Angie's too for fibromyalgia.
Yes.
I always call you the mental health advocate, but you're also a chronic illness advocate. But yeah, you know, all of those things that we all go through that we keep talking about, they go through this. And I want to say maybe more so because they have such little, I mean, I thought lupus was misunderstood. This seems much worse in terms of like knowledge in the general community.
Right.
Before today, I don't think I could have answered a question about sickle cell anemia.
Right.
so I learned something too. So yeah, I hope this really helps them and gets more awareness out there. We will certainly do whatever we can. So we hope that this week was enjoyable, that you've learned something from it. If you got something out of it, please just like, share, follow, or subscribe to any of our channels. It's always best to like our actual broadcast on either our Facebook account, our YouTube account, or our Anchor FM account, because it likes to tally up those numbers for us. And we love to see how many people are listening.
Yes.
Because we get a sense of what you all like. So by checking out the numbers. So please do that for us. It would help a lot. All of our social media information will again be announced at the end. Please join us next week for a brand new episode. You don't want to miss it. Until then, remember that we're stronger together. And thank you so much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it. And we hope you all had a happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, Angie, before we wrap this up, did anybody guess what Jacob was? Did anyone see what Jacob was? I think we should put the picture on the website today so people can see him.
Yep, I'm going to put it up there.
So everyone can see what Jacob was and we can see if we got it right.
Yeah. I bet nobody would have guessed.
I seriously wouldn't have guessed.
Because when we picked out the costume, I didn't even guess. Okay. I was like, really? Are you sure?
That is so cute.
Yeah.
But everyone check that out. We'll put it on Facebook, definitely, and Instagram. So make sure you check that out because he is so adorable. He really is. He's the cutest
He's also at his first day of preschool today. So
yeah, and he waltzed right in, just like Max did. Waltzed right in. Bye.
Yeah, like he owned the place. I'm like, okay, bye, Jacob.
And as much worrying as you did. It's so funny how they do that to us. You're all worried and they're not. So yeah, You just never know. Anyways, thanks guys for listening and we will see you next week.
Mask up. Peace out, guys.
Unified through chronic and mental illness can be found at anchor.fm/unified. There you can find all social media links as well as other ways to listen.